I actually chose to run because of an interaction I had with our current representative several years back. I'd called him on the phone number provided by the Capitol website. I had a couple ideas on how to, in my opinion, make the state run a little smoother, more efficiently, regarding motorcycles at red lights and potentially eliminating Iowa's front license plate. Save the raw materials, save the labor to make them. I thought, great, we can save money here and we can spend it somewhere we need it. I was met with the fact that our representative stated he was not a fan of how the DOT spends their budget anyway, and as such would not do anything to save that agency money. I saw that as wrong. I couldn't agree with it personally, and without the representation that I thought I deserved as a constituent, I imagined I can't be the only one. I decided I'll run. We'll see what we can do. As a third-party candidate, I feel I can help with that gridlock, kind of prompt some collusion between the two major parties. A swing vote that isn't guaranteed to vote with any party line is a swing vote that has to be worked for, and that means there has to be a good bill put in front of me to get a yes vote. I'm hearing several things regarding definitely preserving our Second Amendment rights, which I hold very dear. I'm a hunter, I'm a target shooter. I've actually survived a gunshot, and I still see no reason to infringe on the rights of our friends and neighbors. Medical cannabis is another one that's being pushed. The current bill expires in 2017, and with the gridlock I was just talking about, who knows if we're going to have anything decent to replace it. We need to be compassionate and work with our friends and neighbors, do what's right, not let political, I want to say BS so bad, but not let the standard political clashing get in the way of compassion for our friends and neighbors. I favor whole plant access and a very comprehensive list of conditions that qualify. Chronic pain is absolutely that's one I suffer from, and I feel that I could personally benefit from as a patient. I've walked away from the opiates. I don't want to risk addiction, and we're making people choose between pain, approved painkillers, which often carry devastating side effects, or a life outside the law. And I'd like to move away from the pain aspect personally, as well as definitely, we've seen a ton of success with the pilot bill. Aaron Miller's son, Abram, has been seizure-free, I believe, over a year now. And that is astonishing success. Our legislature has already, by approving this first bill, admitted that cannabis is medicine. We need to take it from there. We need to expand on it and get out from under Big Pharma. I believe it should be expanded beyond just medical, but we need to take steps and we need to fight for every inch of ground we can get. I do want to keep a balanced budget. I actually am looking to shrink or do what I can to promote the shrinkage of state government and overreach. The things I would definitely work to prioritize as far as funding goes, our schools, absolutely. That should really go without saying, and I hate the fact that I even had to mention that, yes, I do want to fund our schools. We should be a little harder on the DOT, in my opinion, because our legislature has just accepted and approved a gas tax hike. Some of that funding has allegedly been mismanaged, but we should be very tight on the DOT and make sure that our money is being used wisely. Even going down to the counties, I've recently seen within the last week a new sign placed above a dry creek with the name of the creek on it. Simple, frivolous things like that can be eliminated. I think we can look into rewarding good budgeting within our agencies and give positive incentive to not mismanage the money entrusted to them by our taxpayers. What about taxes? Taxation is theft. But as far as taxes go, I do not approve of raising any taxes, implementing any new taxes. I definitely think we're hit hard enough as it sits, and if we're still not pulling in enough money, we need to be looking at how it's being managed more than how it's being pulled in. I would look at the surplus and say, how much can we save our taxpayers next session? And work out with Democrats and Republicans both how we can put money back into the pockets of Iowans, especially those that are being taxed disproportionately. Our gas tax is more likely to affect a single mother who has to drive a 20-year-old car 30 miles to work than it is your average person in the city who can hop on a public bus. We need to be looking at who's getting hit the hardest and definitely relieve that burden. I'm not a politician. I'm not looking to make a career in politics. I advocate term limits to the extent that my Twitter handle is actually I love term limits. We need to de-incentivize a career in politics. I believe I'm actually one of the few that is willing to stick to that promise, go in there and say, hey, 8 years, 10 years, whatever is enough, and there's no reason we should be spending more time accruing influence and throwing our weight around like that.